Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhagavati Naishtike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, entitled Transcendental Knowledge, text number 3 onward. So Krishna, in the previous verse, he says that this knowledge was given, but with time, parampara was broken, so this knowledge is lost. So now he's saying, Sa eva ayam maya tyadya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science. So, Sa Evayam, Krishna is also not changing the knowledge, not changing the instructions. Same instructions which he gave to sun god Vivaswan millions and millions of years ago. And that very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you. Many times when we preach, we meet all kinds of people. So they say, oh, this was old. I mean, you have to tell us something new, something latest, something trendy. No, Krishna millions of years ago gave the same knowledge to sun god and he gave to Arjuna. Oh, if millions of years the knowledge hasn't changed, so who are we to change it? It's the same knowledge, same process. Other day, we had this interfaith meeting, and I only speak about Krishna and Bhakti and that. So the one Christian pastor, he got up and he asked a question. Got up, it's an online meeting. So he said, oh, okay, so if it was this Bhakti Yoga that you're talking about, if it was okay thousands of years ago, will be okay thousands of years from now? I said, so soul is eternal, Krishna is eternal, relationship is eternal, and so is the Bhakti. To revive, to reawaken that love of God is eternal. It's not bound by time that, okay, what was good millions of years ago, it's not good now. It's the same thing. It's just the process has changed because in Kali Yuga, we are not that very intelligent, or we cannot perform austerities, or we cannot do big yagyas because there is no money and there are no proper Brahmins to chant those. So Krishna has given everything, every yoga, what has to be done to revive that relationship. But the relationship is eternal. So let's see what Prabhupada says. There are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. The Lord selected Arjuna as a recipient of this great science, owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. But for the demon, it's not possible to understand this great mysterious science. There are a number of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees, and some of them have commentaries by the demons. Prabhupada calls them demons. Demon is not Rakshas. That's what we have to understand. Later in 16th chapter, Krishna gives the divine and demoniac natures, who are there. Demons means basically those who don't want to serve Krishna. They want to serve their own senses. That's all demoniac nature. They want to act against Krishna, that's also obviously it's demoniac. Commentation by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. And this is what Krishna says. I'm telling you the same knowledge because you are my devotee as well as my friend. Means to understand this knowledge. These two qualities and another quality later disclosed by Krishna. We'll come to that. Three qualities are very, very important to understand Krishna, to understand Krishna's instructions, to understand exactly what he wants, and to work on that. Otherwise, we cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. Forget about, as Prabhupada commentaries written by demons. The demoniac, however, do not accept. Now, Arjuna accepts Shri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And any commentary on the Gita, following in the footsteps of Arjuna, is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. They give different kinds of interpretations. Oh, this Kurukshetra is our body, and the Pandavas are the five senses, and Krishna is the mind, and Duryodhana and other brothers, they are this and that. Nonsense. Let's not interpret any way, speculate in any way. Let's see what Krishna is saying. And that is why Vedvyasa, when he wrote down all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita in Mahabharata, he said Shri Bhagavan Vacha, so to understand who Krishna is. So demoniac however, do not accept Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the paths of Krishna's instructions. Here is a warning about such misleading paths. One should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna and thus be benefited by this great science of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. But the question arises, hey, Prabhupada writes, one should try to follow the disciplic succession from Arjuna. Arjuna did not start any disciplic succession. Arjuna did not have any disciples. Well, first of all, Arjuna was given this knowledge. He is devotee and he is Krishna's friend. And as Krishna also said earlier, that Rajarshi is given to the kings so that they can rule properly and lead their followers on the path of bhakti. So Arjuna did not start or any disciplic succession, but when Krishna spoke this to Arjuna, Vedvyasa heard. Vedvyasa wrote it down. And then from Vedvyasa, as it's mentioned in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita here in this book, the disciplic succession is there. So the knowledge, that's why Krishna, again, as previous words, he said, this parampara was somehow broken. And so I'm giving this knowledge again to you. So the importance of parampara, disciplic succession, is that the knowledge comes down as it is. It's just like Prabhupada explained in some place. If somebody is sitting on top of a tree with some fruits, and if he throws the fruits on the ground and that somebody will catch it, then the fruit, we might not get the right fruit intact. But if he gives it to a person down on a lower branch, or gives on a person down on a lower branch, then that way the fruit will be preserved and it comes down, it will be intact. So similarly, disciplic succession means knowledge coming down properly. So the proper disciples, they hand it down to their further disciples to further. So the crux of the knowledge, essence of the knowledge is not gone. Changes will be there in how to present that knowledge, but not the principles. Principles cannot change. So that is a disciplic succession. And now Arjun, he got a question right away. I mean, what are you talking about, Krishna? Arjuna vacha, aparam bhavato janma, param janma vivasvata, katham etad vijaniyam, tvamado proktavaniti. Arjun said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed the science to him? So Arjun is now understand Arjun's position at that in that battle right now. He was bewildered, crying, completely disarrayed. But the questions he's asking are very important. So means it was all Krishna's Yogmaya working on him. Arjun is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how he could not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjun is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them only, Arjun inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. So he is saying, so as Prabhupada said, so Arjun is asking this question on behalf of all of us. Well, Krishna said, oh, I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan millions of years ago. But Krishna was just born. He was almost as aged as Arjun. So how to understand? He must be just Thanku Bhai, just exaggerating. Oh, I gave this now. No, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he should be accepted as such. And then when we learn, when we hear him speak and we learn, we accept, we implement, we make progress. Prabhupada also says, as it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjun knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as a son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjun put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, but not only at present, but from time immemorial. And the demons alone reject him. And they reject him, they work against him, they try to kill him, but in the end, they all get killed. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjun put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons, who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. So they always try to distort Krishna because this is how it serves their purpose. If everybody starts believing Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God, and then whatever he is saying in Bhagavad Gita is to be followed by all of us, then where is the question of anybody running his own shop? Mayavadis try to say we all are God. And then people like it. Yes, we all are God. But look at God's qualities. First quality. I mean, he just showed one of those qualities that I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan. Millions and millions of in the beginning of time. Do we even remember what we did last week? And we try to say we are God. So this is our fault. And the Mayavadi philosophy, that's why it doesn't hold water, but still people want to believe that so many tons and tons of followers of Mayavad philosophy, because they just like this idea. Okay, I am God, you are God, everybody is God. We are not God. We were never God. We'll never become God. We're always servant of Krishna. it is necessary that everyone, for his own interest, know the signs of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange, because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees hardly welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. That's the position of devotees. The atheists who consider Krishna an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, that he is above the domination of the modes of material nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna, like Arjuna, is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature. So Krishna is the Supreme Person, and how successfully Prabhupada is writing this commentary. He is beyond these modes of material nature. He is the Supreme Lord. His body is Satchidananda Vigraha. And he should not be considered under the material modes. He never comes under the material modes. Until we understand these qualities of Krishna, we will not put our faith in his words and will not get benefited. So that's why this chapter is called Transcendental Knowledge. So first knowledge is about Krishna, not what he does, but who is he? And then Krishna now will speak about himself. People might, this is also one of the questions or doubts of people. Oh, Krishna is speaking about himself. How egotistic it is. It's not egotistic. He's just speaking about himself, which is a truth, and is Supreme Personality of God, that he has every right to speak about himself, so people don't get misled. If I speak about myself, oh, I'm this and that, I can be. This is my pride talking. If Krishna speaks about himself, there's no pride. He's speaking the truth. And when we hear him speak about himself, we get benefited. Krishna does not get benefit. He doesn't need anything. If I stand up, or when any politician stands up, and he starts speaking about himself, his glories, his works, it's his pride talking, and nobody gets benefited. He himself is getting benefited for his, because he wants some votes. Krishna doesn't want votes. He didn't become Supreme Personality of Godhead by election. He's speaking about himself. So, one, we get benefited, we can surrender, we understand his glories, we should develop full faith in him. And then we should develop love for him, or reawaken that love which is forgotten. Krishna is Atmaram, mentioned by Shukdev Goswami in Bhagavatam. He is self-satisfied, he doesn't need anybody. We need him, not that he needs us. We need him. We need to serve him. That is for our benefit he is speaking. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Bahune me vyatitani janmani tav charjuna tanyam veda sarvani natvam ved parantapa. The personality of Godhead said, many, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, the subduer of the enemy. See, The words that he used, Parantapa, subduer of the enemy, but you can subdue your enemy of ignorance. In the Brahm Samhita, we have informed of many, many incarnations of the Lord. It is stated here, Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam, Adim Purana Purusham Navayovanam. Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atman Bhakto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person, absolute, infallible, without beginning. And this is Brahmaji has spoken about Brahma, Krishna. Although expanded into unlimited forms, he is still the same origin, the oldest, and the person always appearing as a fresh youth. Such eternal, blissful, all-knowing forms of the Lord are usually not understood by even the best Vedic scholars, but they are always manifest to pure, unalloyed devotees. So Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. So his forms are not known even by the best Vedic scholars. Why? Because they are not devotees. Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. It's also stated in Brahm Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan Nanavataram Akarod Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Sambhavat Parma Pumaniyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is always situated in various incarnations, such as Ram, Narasimha, and many other sub-incarnations as well. But who is the original personality of Godhead known as Krishna? Brahmaji is saying, Krishna Swayam Sambhavat, Parma Pumaniyo, and who incarnates personally also. So he has various incarnations, Ram, Narasimha, etc. But he also comes as himself, and he is a Swayam Bhagavan. In the Vedas also it is said that the Lord, although one without a second, manifests himself in innumerable forms. He is like the Vaidurya stone, which changes color yet still remains one. All those multiforms are understood by the pure, unalloyed devotees, but not by a simple study of the Vedas. So only devotees can understand him, because he reveals himself to devotees only. Devotees like Arjuna are constant companions of the Lord. And whenever the Lord incarnates, the associate devotees also incarnate in order to serve the Lord in different capacities. Arjuna is one of these devotees. And in this verse, it is understood that some millions of years ago, when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, Arjuna in a different capacity was also present. But the difference between the Lord and Arjuna is that the Lord remembered the incident, whereas Arjuna could not remember. So here Krishna says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavchar. Many births we have both taken. Prabhupada explains Krishna's birth means Krishna's incarnations, different incarnations that he has. Because next verse, a few verses down, we'll see who is Krishna. Again, more qualities about Krishna. But Arjuna has taken many births because Arjuna is a soul, living entity, conditioned soul. Not conditioned, liberated soul, but he is a soul. He is not God. Huge difference. Arjuna has also taken many births. And as a devotee, he just comes with Krishna whenever and whichever way Krishna wants him to serve. And so many others also. But Krishna remembers, Arjuna forgot, and it's also mentioned because of our changing of our bodies, we forget things. Krishna does not change his body. He is Satchidananda Vigraha, always the same. He can come in different rupa, like Ram, Narasimha-deva. But they all are Vishnu Tattva, they all are Satchidananda Vigraha. They don't forget anything. We forget because we change our bodies. Although Arjun is addressed herein as a mighty hero who could subdue the enemies, he is unable to recall what had happened in his various past births. Therefore, a living entity, however great he may be in the material estimation, can never equal the Supreme Lord. Anyone who is a constant companion of the Lord is certainly a liberated person, but he cannot be equal to the Lord. Even Arjun is not equal to the Lord. So how can we, conditioned souls, Arjun is eternally liberated soul. We are conditioned souls. How can even think of being equal to the Lord? The Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as infallible, Achyuta, which means that he never forgets himself, even though he is in material contact. Therefore, the Lord and the living entity can never be equal in all respects, even if the living entity is as liberated as Arjuna. Never going to be equal. Although Arjuna is a devotee of the Lord, he sometimes forgets the nature of the Lord. But by the divine grace, a devotee can at once understand the infallible condition of the Lord, whereas a non-devotee or a demon cannot understand this transcendental nature. Huge difference. Even though devotees can forget, or Maya can take over them, Yoga Maya, to make them forget who Krishna is. In fact, they forget. This is also mercy of Krishna through Yoga Maya. They forget. Why? Because Krishna wants to taste the love of the relationship with the devotees. If everybody remembers Krishna as Supreme Lord only, then where is the question of relationship as mother, or as a lover, or as friend, or as brother? Where is the question of that relationship? So Krishna's Yoga Maya is always acting on his devotees or his associates in the spiritual world. And this is very interesting to understand. Krishna's Mahamaya is acting here in the material world, so we don't remember him. We don't understand who Krishna is. Krishna's Yogamaya is acting on his devotees or associates in the spiritual world. So they don't understand him as Supreme Lord. But the purpose is different. It just devotees who were sadhakas, trying to be devotees like us. We are coming out from forgetfulness of Krishna as Supreme Lord. Now we are trying to understand He is a Supreme Lord, and when we become perfect, we'll also forget He is a Supreme Lord. Of course, the consciousness will be completely different. So this is how Krishna works. Although Arjuna is a devotee, okay. Consequently, these descriptions in the Gita cannot be understood by demoniac brains. Krishna remembered acts which were performed by him millions of years before, but Arjuna could not, despite the fact that both Krishna and Arjuna are eternal in nature. We may also note herein that a living entity forgets everything due to his change of body. But the Lord remembers because he does not change his Sachidanand body. And how often do we change our bodies? Our bodies are changing every second. The cell is a basic unit of composition of the body. The cells are changing every moment. As I said, every 7 years, we completely change our body. That means all the cells have changed. So this is why we forget things. We don't even remember what we did last week. Forget about 7 years ago. This is our position. We think we are Krishna or we are God. He is Advaita, means there is no distinction between him and his body. That is another meaning of Advaita. Everything in relation to him is spirit, whereas a conditioned soul is different from his material body. And because the Lord's body and self are identical, Lord's body and self are identical, his position is always different from that of the ordinary living entity, even when he descends to the material platform. The demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explains in the following words. So another knowledge is coming about him. So he is Satchidanand. He does not change his body. And that's why the demons, what do they try to do? The biggest demons, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, they wanted to kill the Lord. They cannot kill the Lord. But they wanted to kill him. Why? Because if they kill him, then they will be the controllers. Then they will nobody superior to them. Then they can enjoy as much as they want. Devotees, on the other hand, we talked about Hiranyakashipu. He wanted to kill the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj, he was a devotee. He wanted to serve the Lord. So who was the benefactor? Hiranyakashipu got killed, and Prahlad Maharaj got the whole kingdom. And he enjoyed. Enjoyed in the sense he was a devotee of the Lord. So he was using everything in service of the Lord. So the real enjoyment is not to try to become controller or enjoyer or proprietor. The real enjoyment is in service of the Lord. Understanding, I am a devotee. And in return, Krishna can give any and every material opulence that we may not even need or want, but Krishna can give. He gave it to Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj just did tapasya for what, 6 months. It was very terrible tapasya, no doubt. Hiranyakashipu performed tapasya for much longer time. 100 celestial years, 36,000 years. And he did much more than what Dhruva Maharaj did, but the purpose was different. Consciousness was different. And Dhruva Maharaj, although when he started his tapasya, he wanted a kingdom better than even Lord Brahma's. Hiranyakashipu wanted to become immortal. But the purpose, because Dhruva Maharaj was insulted, but he got the mercy of Narad Muni. Hiranyakashipu went on his own. And he didn't want to please Krishna, he wanted to please Brahmaji. If he had wanted to please Krishna, of course, now we can say it's part of Krishna's pastime, because Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Jaya and Vijaya. So whatever happened had to happen. True, but this is a lesson to learn. That Dhruva Maharaj performed tapasya to please Krishna or Vishnu. Hiranyakashipu performed much severe tapasya to please Brahmaji, demigod versus the Supreme Lord. And Krishna, when he is pleased, he can give the benedictions in a way that we are purified, and then he can give opulence. Brahmaji is a demigod, he is bound to give the results, or Shivji also. They don't necessarily want us to be purified and then get the result. Of course, in the process, when we try to use those benedictions against Krishna's devotees, Krishna can come and purify us in a different way. But not the same way Krishna deals with his devotees. So Dhruva Maharaj, he wanted to please Krishna because he got mercy of Narad Muni, got the right knowledge. And then Lord Vishnu appeared before Dhruv Maharaj after only 6 months of tapasya. Okay, ask, what do you want? Yeah, I don't want anything. I was looking for broken pieces of glass. Now I got the diamond, most valuable diamond. I don't need anything. And Lord gave him everything. You will rule over your kingdom for 36,000 years, then you'll come to rule the pole star, which is non-different from Vaikuntha planet. And then when you leave, you come back to me in the same body. So this is Krishna. But the demons, that's what it said, the demons cannot adjust themselves to this transcendental nature of the Lord, which the Lord himself explains in the following verse. So next verse. Ajo api sannavyayatma bhutanam ishvaro api san prakritim swam adhisthaya sambhavami atma maya. Very, very important verse. Although I am unborn, ajo api, aja. Aja means one who has not taken birth or doesn't take birth. And my transcendental body never deteriorates. San avyaya atma. Sun means sat, sat means eternal. My transcendental body never deteriorates. Bhutanam Ishvarapi San. And although I am the Lord of all living entities, Bhutanam Ishvara Api. Api means but, although this, that. By my internal energy, Prakritim Swam Adhisthaya. My internal energy. I don't take birth by external energy like we all do. We get material bodies completely controlled and provided by the material energy. Krishna appears under his own internal energy. By my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. My internal energy and Swamadhisthaya. Adhisthaya means controller. Adhisthaya means controller. Adhisthaya. I control everything and I appear in my original form. I don't take any material form. I'm unborn, Ajopi. But I still appear in my transcendental form. The Lord has spoken about the peculiarity of his birth. Although he may appear like an ordinary person, he remembers everything of his many, many past births. Whereas a common man cannot remember what he has done even a few hours before. If someone is asked what he did exactly at the same time one day earlier, it would be very difficult for a common man to answer immediately. He would surely have to dredge his memory to recall what he was doing exactly at the same time one day before. And yet men often dare claim to be God or Krishna. One should not be misled by such meaningless claims. Then again, the Lord explains his Prakriti or his form. Prakriti means nature, as well as Swarupa or one's own form. The Lord says that he appears in his own body. Our bodies are changing every moment. Krishna doesn't change at all. He appears in his own body. He does not change his body as a common living entity changes from one body to another. Of course, at the time of death, we change it completely. But Krishna does not change. The conditioned soul may have one kind of body in the present birth, but he has a different body in the next birth. In the material world, the living entity has no fixed body, but transmigrates from one body to another. So this is our situation. The Lord, however, does not do so. Same body is made of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Whenever he appears, it does so in the same original body by his internal potency, not under Maya, by his Yog Maya potency. In other words, Krishna appears in this material world in his original eternal form with two hands, holding a flute. He appears exactly in his eternal body, uncontaminated by this material world. Although he appears in the same transcendental body and is Lord of the universe, it still appears that he takes his birth like an ordinary living entity. This is another pastime. That's why he just bewilders the atheists or the demons. He comes in the same body, but he appears that he's taken birth. He took birth from the womb of Mother Devaki in the prison house. But then we look at his pastimes. He goes out of the prison house. He tells his father to take me out, and all the shackles are broken. All the doors opened up. All the security guards fell asleep. Then Vasudevji took him to Gokul. And still, if people say, oh, he's an ordinary person, even just by his birth, and it's not birth, it's appearance. It's incarnation, appearance. He doesn't take birth. That's why we have to listen to the right gurus to understand Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's form, Krishna's glories of Krishna. Then we develop the right attitude. Otherwise, people in India, especially in India, we know Krishna. No, we don't know Krishna. He is unlimited. We don't even know even a scratch worth of Krishna. This is what Krishna is. Ajo api sannavyayat. But he still appears. Although his body does not deteriorate like a material body, it still appears that Lord Krishna grows from childhood to boyhood and from boyhood to youth. He showed his pastimes. But astonishingly enough, he never ages beyond youth. He doesn't get old like we do. That's more astonishing. Why? Why he doesn't get old? Because Krishna is the reservoir of all pleasure, all enjoyment comes from him and is for him only. And although materially speaking, we only enjoy life when we are young. So Krishna also wants to enjoy all the rasas, but that he does it only when he's young. Babyhood also he enjoys something with Mother Yashoda and other motherly, parental love. But when he is young, he enjoys every rasa, motherly or fatherly love, friendship, conjugal love, servitude love, everything he enjoys when he's young. Suppose he performs his pastime of becoming old, very, very old, like in Christian tradition, they show God is very old, long, white, flowing beard, wearing white robes. So in that age, in that form, can he enjoy the Madhurya Ras or the parental relationship with Mother Yashoda? No. So he doesn't age beyond youth. At the time of the Battle of Kurukshetra, he had many grandchildren at home. We studied him, like Anirudh and Pradyumna and their children. Or in other words, he had sufficiently aged by material calculations. Still, he looked just like a young man, 20 or 25 years old. Here, Prabhupada writes 20, 25. Other places he has written 16 years old. So he never gets old beyond that. Or he doesn't even look old. He is the original person. So never gets old means it's not like time-wise he is aged, but his looks-wise, he never gets old. We never see a picture of Krishna in old age because he never grows old like us. Although he is the oldest person in the whole creation, past, present, and future. Neither his body nor his intelligence ever deteriorates or changes. Therefore, it is clear that in spite of his being in the material world, he is the same unborn eternal form of bliss and knowledge, changeless in his transcendental body and intelligence. Factually, his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us, and then disappearing from our eyesight. But when the sun is out of sight, we think that the sun has set. And when the sun is before our eyes, we think the sun is on the horizon. Actually, the sun is always in its fixed position. But owing to our defective, insufficient senses, we calculate the appearance and disappearance of the sun in the sky. So sun never sets. It just earth rotates and we cannot see it. So we think the sun has set. Sun never sets. And because Lord Krishna's appearance and disappearance are completely different from that of any ordinary common living entity, it is evident that he is eternal, blissful knowledge by his eternal potency, and that he is never contaminated by material nature. The Vedas also confirm that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn, yet he still appears to take his birth in multi-manifestations. The Vedic supplementary literatures also confirm that even though the Lord appears to be taking his birth, he is still without change of body. In the Bhagavatam, he appears before his mother as Narayan with 4 hands and the decorations of the 6 kinds of full opulences. His appearance in his original eternal form is his causeless mercy bestowed upon the living entity so that they can concentrate on the Supreme Lord as he is and not on mental concoctions or imaginations, which the impersonalist wrongly thinks the Lord's forms to be. So his form is not a mental concoction or imagination. Sometimes the people say, how do you know Krishna looks like this? Because this is how it's mentioned in the scriptures. Simple as that. The word Maya or Atma Maya refers to the Lord's causeless mercy, according to Vishwakosh Dictionary. The Lord is conscious of all of his previous appearances and disappearances, but a common living entity forgets everything about his past body as soon as he gets another body. He is the Lord of all living entities, Bhutanam Ishvaropi, because he performs wonderful and superhuman activities while he is on this earth. Therefore, the Lord is always the same absolute truth and is without differentiation between his form and self, or between his quality and body. A question may now be raised as to why the Lord appears and disappears in this world. This is explained in the next verse. So, very, very interesting knowledge given by Prabhupada and the instructions given by Krishna. And as Prabhupada said, the Vedas also confirm the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unborn. And Vedas go in so many verses, so many places. Not just the Vedas, Upanishads, and other. That's why Gita is considered the essence of all the scriptural knowledge. One sentence, Krishna just cleared everything. So all we have to do is just as Prabhupada said, this one book, if somebody reads, not just one book, it's a one sentence, his life can be perfect. How powerful Bhagavad Gita is. So anyway, I guess we can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nice class.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, one question.
Mhm.
From Kali Yuga to the Satya Yuga, after 400,000 years, when Satya Yuga is about to come, and from the mode of material nature, the Sadogod is going to be on the top. So
Mhm.
would that be effect of free mode of material nature automatically, or Maya will play the role differently, which is she's playing now in Kali Yuga?
See, when Kalki avatar comes towards the end of Kali Yuga, so he's basically gonna kill,
Yeah.
kill all the atheists and demons and whatever.
Yeah.
But before he comes, all the sages and the righteous people, they will run towards the mountains. They will hide in the mountains, in the forests. And when Kalki avatar comes, he kills all the demoniac kings or the leaders or population. So in those sages, they'll come down from the mountains and they will start Satyuga. So there will be a transition period between Kali Yuga and Satyuga. There will be a transition period. And that's when the setup will happen for Satyuga to start. And that's when from mode of ignorance, it will go to the mode of goodness. And the setup, we can say, or the stage will be set for Satyuga to start.
So it is with the help of those sadhus and santa, the environment is going to change. So so effect of so Maya will not play any role in that. I mean,
well, Maya will follow
whatever
the
she's following.
She will follow. This is how the Lord wants. Just like when Kali Yuga started, and Parikshit Maharaj was killing that, ready to kill that Kali personified. He said, "This is my time. This is how Lord has created. This is my time to come and take over. You cannot kill me." So same thing will happen from Kali Yuga to Satyuga.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ravi. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine because going down is easy, and all of a sudden going up from Kali Yuga to Satyuga.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine how it happens, but it has been happening.
Difficult to conceive, right? I mean, everything is going to change again.
So, Prabhuji, how many more years we have for Kali Yuga?
Oh, a long time. Kali Yuga total is 432,000, out of which 5,000 years only have passed. So 427,000 more years to go.
Okay.
Long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
How many births we have to take in that, we don't know, right?
I hope not.
Probably very difficult to say no. The way we look at, if we are in Kali Yuga, we were there in Satyuga also. We were there. If we are unable to surrender ourselves in Satyuga, Treta, and Dwapar, what we are doing in Kali Yuga is a very minute thing. Unless I'm wrong.
But how do we know what form we were, which species we were in Satyuga? How do you know we were humans or not?
It's a history of trillions year old. Yugas. Right?
Yeah.
How many yugas have passed? So many, right? Trillions. So that means I've not taken a birth human form in any of those yugas.
Okay, so you're talking any. Okay, no, I was talking just the yugas that have just passed. Yeah, we have taken human form. Definitely we have taken human form. And in fact, one place it is said every living entity who falls into material world, first he takes the position of Brahma. We were Lord Brahma also, sometime.
Is a person, yeah.
And we fell down from there. So hard to
Sometimes it is
understand.
difficult to reconcile, Prabhuji. The reason being, Dhruv Maharaj got darshana within 6 months, right? And soul like us continuously coming from trillions of years. So something is lacking somewhere. Either too much influence with Maya or negligence of this understanding of when he says you surrender to me. The definition of surrender is missing. We are not able to do that right manner.
That's what Krishna says. Na bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate. To many, many, many births, one who has knowledge, he surrenders unto.
Mm.
One who doesn't have knowledge, definitely he doesn't surrender. And one who has knowledge, even now he takes many births to surrender. So what to do?
Yeah. Yeah, that was fine, Prabhuji. Yes.
So also even in this birth, now we know everything, right? So how many of us are surrendering?
It's Maya, Prabhuji. It's very strong Maya. Very, very. Prabhuji,
Maya is not stronger than Krishna.
yeah, that is, but Prabhuji, the way the body is designed on this earthly planet, I don't know about other planet. The lust is sitting on the 3 places, and in
Yeah.
mind intelligence on that. So when we see anything from our eyes, right, we see through that lust because that's a sitting
Yeah.
place on the top of it. So that means everywhere we don't see the real thing behind that because lust is coming up front, whatever we see. And that is probably causing us, that design is causing us a problem to look behind those dust, how the real mirror is.
Yeah. And if we see lust, we also should see Krishna is sitting in every atom of the universe. This is the jnani, the knowledge. He is there in every
Yes.
atom.
But intelligence is behind because there's a heavy weight of the lust on the intelligence. Until unless we remove that heavy weight of that lust, the intelligence is not going to come up.
True.
And
Real
until
intelligence. Yes. So that is why consciousness has to be purified. No, it's not the intelligence. If consciousness is purified, intelligence will be purified. Mind will be purified.
lust will take a back seat.
Yeah. It will transform into love. Love means to serve
Yeah.
Krishna. Service
Yeah,
creation.
okay.
Lust is, I want to enjoy. Yes, that fight, struggle will always be there because we are still in the neophyte stage, still in the beginning stages. Fight will be there, but we have to fight. That is why all these books Prabhupada has given. So see, if we think, okay, let's not fight with lust, isn't enough struggle in the material world? Plenty of struggle here.
Too much, yes.
So let's fight with it and go back. Try to go back. If not in this lifetime, next lifetime. Let's try to go back.
Okay, on this point, not in this life, maybe next life. I mean, in the next life, again, we have a danger of coming influence of Maya. Next life again, we don't know. We may fall down again, kind of. become a very risky game in that case.
So that's why we have tried to finish it off this lifetime. And another beauty of bhakti, that is more powerful. We don't make progress on our own. We get the mercy. We make progress by getting the mercy of Prabhupada, mercy of Krishna, mercy of devotees, mercy of acharyas.
Mm.
They lift us up. So that is
That's
more important, more powerful factor
Mm.
in Bhakti Yoga. On our own, definitely not. We cannot make anything.
Yeah.
We cannot do anything.
And
But if they want to lift us up, who can stop them? That is important. So all we have to do is carry on with our sadhana sincerely. So they recognize, okay, this soul is trying hard. Let me just bring him back. Let me take him back.
yeah, probably.
That is
Good one.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try some more today. Sunday. So thank you all very much. You all have a safe
Thank
and
you,
wonderful
Prabhuji.
day.
Yeah,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Jai Shri
Hare
Ram.
Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.